This is from the OK Storytime subreddit. Am I the asshole for not wanting anything to do with my wife's family? Don't know. Let's see. I, 28 male, and my wife, 27 female, have been together for 8 years, married for six. We met when I was in the military and stationed in the city that she grew up in. At first, I loved her family. After coming from a super dysfunctional and broken family, having the parent figures that actually cared about me felt great. I went to Thanksgiving at her house alone while she was at work, as the first time I met them almost a year into us dating. The only family member at the time I had an issue with was one of her stepsisters, who was just a total ass to anyone and everyone. Her stepmom was awesome, and her dad was just that blue collar guy who's been in the military, kind of chill, quiet. At the time, I barely spoke to anyone in my family. A year later, we got married at the courthouse. No point in a big wedding when it's only going to be one side of the family. Shortly after that, I went on back to back to back deployments and spent the majority of our first 3 years of marriage overseas. When I shifted to a non deployable unit, my wife and I decided that this was the perfect time to start a family. A month later, we found out she was pregnant with our first and only child. Her mom had constantly asked us when we were having kids and was so excited to be a grandma, knowing that her oldest daughter was unable to have kids. At this point, I was working on the relationship with my parents, which was causing a lot of internal pain with me having to talk about all the things I had gone through and hated. I had buried it in the past and was trying to move on. My dad and mom had been separated since I was three, and my older sister was a mental case. We lived across the country over 3,000 miles away from both her family and mine. Fast forward to the birth of our son. My dad came to visit, my mom and younger sister came to visit, and my aunt, our favorite family member from my side of the family, came to visit. No one from her family wanted to fly to visit and see us or our son and demanded us to fly to them. I had already taken a lot of leave and had no time left to do so. During that time, I was stressed with the new kid and the rebuilding of my parental relationship. I became angry and bitter about my job, and coming straight home to a crying baby and housework was draining me. I found myself becoming mentally unstable, thinking about my times on deployment and the friends that I had lost. Oh, you poor thing. I would just sit and stare and just zone out and do nothing. I finally broke and almost before my coworker convinced me to seek help. I am now in therapy and medicated and in a better place. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. I owe my life to my coworker. Thanks to him, I can now say that my wife and son are the best part of my life, and I'm glad to still be here with him and my wife. About a year later, her dad came, and I can tell you, he is the worst with kids. Once he left, it was a huge relief to both of us because it felt more like an uncomfortable roommate for a week. Fast forward a year and a half, I had to have ankle reconstruction surgery and shoulder surgery, ending my active duty service. I was honorably discharged, and shortly after, we sold our home there. We moved back to my home state, and her parents and family followed. A month after her parents bought their house, her mom said she would babysit our son so we didn't have to pay for childcare. Awesome. We budgeted a plan and bought what I think will be a forever home a few blocks away from them, so it was an easy walk to babysit there or at our home. This is where everything went south. We bought two new cars, the house, and had budgeted everything so we would still have some money to put away in savings and live a comfortable life. After we moved into the new home, her dad went through a midlife crisis and divorced her mom and disowned my wife because she took her stepmom's side. Right after that, her mom decided she no longer wanted to watch our son because he's too much to handle. Our son was recently diagnosed with autism, and that was understandable, but it kind of screwed us over financially. I sold my dream car and bought a cheaper truck to be able to have more money in our pockets. Her mother then told my wife that I was a broke, no good husband who would never provide the life I promised and that she should leave me. Hold on. Number one, thank you for your service. Number two, fuck her. Nobody should ever talk about somebody who spent their life in the military, putting their life on the line for the freedoms that we enjoy. And as I recall, you said you had deployed, deployed, and deployed again. Okay, so for 3 years, you were out of pocket. So for this woman to be talking about how you're no good because you're broke, hello, you were in the military. You were never going to be rich being in the military. That's not why you're there. And she's a straight up muffin. Straight up. She does not deserve to be in your space. Anybody that would talk about somebody who is a vet that put their lives on the line for us, for somebody who wants to be there for their kids, but okay, you bought a house, you guys bought 2 vehicles, you then did the responsible thing, sold yours to have a cheaper model because plans change and hey, life happens. You got to do that. And she's going to talk about you that way? Fuck her. Right up in the ass. Sorry. My wife then started becoming distant and wanted nothing to do with me besides being a paycheck. At least that's how it felt. When I talked to her about it, she pretty much was saying what her mom was saying. She told me her mom always hated me and that I wasn't a real man and stated I was a terrible person who was raised by white trash. He said, given I may have been raised by white trash, but I'm the type of person who give the shirt off my back for anyone. Raised poor, but made something of myself. I also found out she had disclosed my mental health issues to her mother, who now thinks I'm a weak minded man who needs to get over it. Oh. Final straw was when we went on a trip to furniture shop to revamp the house a bit. My wife decided that bringing her recently divorced mother would be a fun idea. In what universe? I stressed I don't like being around her family because of the things that they have said about me. But that was just shrugged off, and I was stuck listening to her mother tell me that my opinion didn't matter and that I was just there to swipe the card if I could even afford it. I snapped on her right there in the store, stating, it's my house, not yours. So shut your fucking mouth. Good for you. God, it's no wonder both your husbands left you. Oh, yes, you went in for the petty strike at the end. It's safe to say I haven't spoken to any of them since that day. My wife constantly wants me to go with her to see them, but I refuse and no longer allow them in my house. So am I the asshole in this situation? No, you're not the asshole. Your wife is the asshole. The fact that she said those things to you are disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Just because somebody gets married does not mean he is going to then give them the life of a Barbie dream house and everything that comes with it, especially in today's living space. I mean, who can afford that? Does she work? What exactly does she do? Because it sounds like all she wants to do is swipe your card. And if all you are is an ATM, then I'd be looking at making some other decisions. Now, granted, I'd probably work in the shadows, get as much information as I could ahead of time, because yes, she will absolutely try and use your past situation against you in a custody situation. So hopefully you're in therapy. Well, you already mentioned that you were, because you would probably have to have a therapist actually speak to the courts to say that that's not a situation anymore. But the vindictive, narcissistic, just gutter trash of them, no, you're not the asshole for not wanting to be around them. And as a matter of fact, I tell your wife, I will never be around them again. Period. They are not welcome in my house. Don't ask. Don't ask if they're sick, if they need this. I am unavailable. Remember, because I'm nothing but gutter trash. Raised by, what was that? White trash. So they should never need your help, right? Let them sit and spin. I would get wife in counseling if there's any chance for your marriage to be worked out. Although, if she's going to continue with this thought process, the odds are not in your favor. I wish you the best. Again, thank you for your service. And you know what? Fuck both of them. Why don't you go find somebody that is going to treat you with the respect you deserve, that's going to give you the love that you're trying to give back, and is not going to treat you like shit. I know you didn't have the best childhood growing up, but that does not mean you have to settle for an asshole now that you're an adult. Rogue out.